Hi guys, after our last live, I had lots of inboxes and a comment around, you guys have got the stacking down pat. It was the top coat that you really wanted to know about. So how I get a smooth-ish finish. I thought I'd just jump on because it's just quicker and easier to explain what I do. So right here I have the same buttercream icing that I use to stack and fill. So it's still light and fluffy. It's got all those little air bubbles in there. So what I do at this stage, and there is a couple of different methods, different colors, you would use different methods, but this one here is going to be a beautiful violet color. I'm actually going to take a portion of it and I'm going to pop it in the microwave. And my Facebook Reels call this tempering. So I've got my microwave here, not for long. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. You want it to go a little bit melty. And then we're going to stir it back in and you're going to see, so it's definitely bubbly, not smooth. So about 20 seconds. So look, it's just a feeling you get as to how much you grab out and how much icing you have in total. So what you want to see is you do want to see it getting a bit jiggly and a bit melty, and we're going to stir that back in. Now I like to do not too much because we don't want sloppy icing, but we can always repeat this process if it's not quite right. So it kind of looks split, and that's okay for now. I'm really jittery because I've just made the most beautiful wedding cake and my nerves are still settling down. I'm really proud of it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you guys what I've made. And I've just sent my husband out eating lunch because doing this kind of stuff, talking to myself, is really embarrassing. But as I'm mixing that in, you can see it's like a completely different texture. So we're getting rid of all those finer air bubbles and it's starting, I keep mixing it, to get silky smooth. Now, if I'm going to do lots of different colours, I tend to do it before I colour it, just because then I portion it out and colour it. But this one you can also do, I do actually use Colour Meal because it's a oil-based food colouring and we're using butter. I just find it mixes in beautifully. And if you're using this method, I have found water-based food colouring sometimes splits. So that's why I do use Colour Meal for my buttercream bases. So that's funny because I just put blue in, but I said I want violet. But I do want a blue undertone. So you can tell my favourite colour is Bluebell because I buy it in the big one. But then I've got some lavender. Now with this method, you actually don't need too much food colouring. It just kind of mixes in beautifully, and the Colour Meal seems to be getting a tad more concentrated, so you just don't need it. Look, it's already turning a beautiful colour. Now, it is loosened right up. And it's looking good. I definitely want that little bit brighter, so I'm going to put a touch of violet. So when I mix a colour, I tend to use multiple different colours to get one shade. I don't know why. I'm sure you could just pump up the one colour and it'll come out nice, but I definitely want that blue undertone. Oh. So to be honest, this is a beautiful top coat consistency, but this is a little bit too loose for piping. So I probably should have done it in a slightly smaller batch, the batch that I chose to warm up. But it's already completely changed. So I did do a reel of a black where I kind of started with the same buttercream and I used my stick blender or my immersion blender, and that gave me the same kind of consistency, but it intensified the color and it was beautiful. So if you want to see deeper colors, I definitely recommend that method. And I've actually got a red cake coming up today that I will probably use, get that one out. Now, I'm just not loving this just yet. I think I need a bit more violet. And this cake Yeah, that's got it. It's really, really pretty, and we're getting a beautiful depth of color. So I'm just gonna quickly show you. My last video I went for 20 minutes that my husband wouldn't even watch it. He said, what do you mean, 20 minutes? I'm not watching that. So I'll try and be a lot quicker. Hi guys. So beautiful, much looser. We've got rid of all that fluffy icing, and now we're just left with a really smooth. So I'm a bit of a blob on top. Now my cake is relatively cold. I put my, when you see my stacking video, I popped it in the fridge for a couple of hours. This is a different cake. This is chocolate, so you can see how crummy my chocolate is. And that's all locked in with my, it's all locked in with my crumb coat. And now, so I'm taking it out the fridge for probably 10 minutes. I just don't want that real shock of change in temperature. Now, I also want to make sure this top coat is not too warm, because it will melt through and then you'll get your crumbs mixing back in. So you can see how nice that is gliding on. So I hope this helps you guys that were like, yeah, we can stack cakes, it's the top coat. So I am going to give you my recipe for my icing, because I mean, it's so simple. There's no reason to not. And this is how I just get the different consistencies, but out of the same mix, which just keeps it easy. And I would say the batch that I make would probably, for this size cake, give you a bit of leftovers, which wrap and glide, wrap and freeze. You can do that once, and then you just want to re-whip it when you get it back out to do it. So you can just see I'm just putting a nice even coating, dragging it down to the board. Trying not to have anything peeking through, just thick enough. This is a themed cake, so I've got lots of decorations going on this one. So that gives me a little bit of grace if I have anything peeking through. So you can see that is looking nice and smooth. Taking my scraper, I'm going to hold it to my board. I don't want it coming up and down or anything like that. I made sure my cake is just smaller than my scraper. And you're just going to see it slowly. So not too firm, guys, nice and soft, keeping it on that angle. So we're not really trying to pick up the icing, we're trying to smooth the icing. So already looking good, but we've got some holes, so I'm going to fill them so they come out and meet my scraper. So I'm not trying to dig my scraper in, I'm actually bringing my icing out to meet my scraper. So anywhere where you can see it's missed. So this is a beautiful soft icing. I'm just using my scraper to position the icing onto my spatula where I want it. So on the board, I'm trying to start getting smooth, full rotations now. So my arm is coming up and over, which probably doesn't look great, but filling. Some of you were surprised by how much it actually takes to crumb coat a cake, and that my video went for 20 minutes. And to think today I've got 7 cakes that I have crumb coated and I'm ready to do. It actually does take a lot. I can't wait to show you my wedding cake. So beautiful. So I've just filled some more holes out to my scraper. And we are starting to get there. How perfect you want this does kind of depend on what kind of cake. Like I said, this is a themed cake, so I've got lots of bits and pieces on there. I actually don't want to overwork it. Now, if your cake's cold, you do want to work pretty quick, because you will notice it will start changing consistency. And that's when you'll start getting the holes appearing, and as you drag it, it'll start pulling the icing off. So it is a bit of practice and knowing when to stop. I still don't know when to stop sometimes. and I put a cake back in the fridge, take a breath, and I just do another coat on top because we don't want it setting. So just on the top, trying to keep that edge. Nice full rotation. I actually want a little bit of a built-up edge because on this themed cake, it's going to look really cool. It's kind of an edgy cake, so I don't want it perfectly straight. And to get a nice rough edge is actually harder than what you think. So you'll notice I kind of pushed it down and now I'm building it back up, and that's going to give me this nice edge that I'm actually going to keep for this cake, and it's just a little lip for everything to sit in. I think this is my final rotation, guys, because like I said, knowing when to step away. Hi. Knowing when to step away is really important. So if you wanted a nice sharp edge, you would bring it into the middle, but for my themed cake today, that's all I want. So I'm finished. I'm going to clean up the board. I've had fun doing these little videos, and the problem is when I walk around town and you tell me that you love watching them, I just want to make more. So I hope you guys give this a go and can just see how the consistency changes is really important to giving you this different finish. So I'm really proud of how actually that one turned out. That one's going in the fridge before I add any decorations. Can't wait to show it to you finished, but you'll have to wait and see. Maybe next time I might do a bit of cake prep with you guys and how I prep my layers and pop them in the freezer. So, or let me know if there's something else that interests you. Thanks guys, see ya.